Today I decided I was going to put Cobra badges on my GT because nobody's going to know the difference. Psych, just kidding. New badges, all that to come after this. So you probably saw in my last video that the radiator had some dripping on each side of it, and it had this big aluminum radiator in it, which wasn't very old at all, so it's unfortunate that it got damaged somehow. And anyway, I just didn't want to have to deal with that dripping, and I could add coolant to it every time I drove it or whatever, just to make sure it was topped off. But I just decided to go ahead and get it done with and just rip that radiator out and buy a new one. I had free time on a Saturday to do this, and I had to order the radiator, and a parts store said that they could have it in halfway through the day, which was okay. So I took the time to go ahead and get the other one out, and then I waited a couple hours for the other one to arrive, and I went to the parts store to pick it up, and I bought it. I went out into the parking lot, put it in the back of my Tahoe, and I opened up the box, and the radiator was smashed. So I had to return that one quickly because the car was in pieces and go buy one that was about 30 minutes away. So it was about an hour drive to go get this one. But anyway, I did get it. Now, something about this whole system is the fan. It has this aftermarket fan in here, and it made kind of a weird rubbing noise. I was actually surprised to find out it was a newer fan, but this noise is because it's not true. You can see where when you spin it, it kind of wobbles, and you can see the plastic just isn't straight. And I ended up just taking a file and running it on the inside of that rim of the fan until it filed away most of that, so there's not any more noise. But here when you spin it, you can hear where it was rubbing. This is what it sounded like. So the new radiator is in. I burped the system, everything's great. The only thing now is I do get a couple little drips out of the hoses. These radiator hoses don't seem to seal very well, and no matter where I put these gear clamps, there's still a tiny little bit of coolant coming out after I drive the car, just a couple drops, maybe a teaspoon worth every time I drive the car, and then let it sit. So I'm working on that. And I also made sure to seal off the power steering line here with some black Permatex RTV. You can see there where it's sealed. These leak a lot, and it's just unfortunate, but I did seal that off, and so far it's holding pretty good. And that is a new power steering pump from the Crown Vic engine that was swapped into the car. So next I had to go register it, and man, it was such a nightmare. I went the first time and to the DMV, and then they made me come back for appointment only, so I spent a couple days doing that. And anyway, while I was doing that though, the next awesome part came for the car, and a lot of people commented on this and said I should get these for the car. And I agree, it needed these. It looked naked without them. These are brand new GT badges, Ford licensed product. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But anyway, nice new GT badges, and I like that they have the adhesive on them. They're brand new, so they'll go on easy. And you can see where they're supposed to go because the paint's faded on there. The fenders are still dented up a little bit on each side, unfortunately, and maybe later down the road I could do some kind of dent removal with that, but for now I just wanted to get the badges on there and enjoy the car looking the way it should. So I cleaned the surface with a microfiber towel. It came with alcohol strips as well, and I used those on the other side where I had to clean off more. I'll show you that later. But when you put these on, you just take them out of the package, and you have to remove the blue backing off of the new badges, and then you'll have the sticky side exposed. This is pretty obvious. And I do have experience doing this with some 3M product. I hung a hook thing up in my shower, and so I learned on the 3M website, they say that when you put something on like this, line it up and then push and hold it for like 30 seconds. So I did that, and I just tried to keep pressure on it and make sure that it wasn't going to come off. I'm surprised that the badges actually fit there nicely, even with the dent. There's not really any bowing or anything that's going to make the badge come off. Maybe towards the front there's a tiny bit, but that's looking pretty good. And boy, that makes all the difference.
Yeah.
On the driver's side, there was still some adhesive from the original badges there, so I took a heat gun and melted it off. You can see I just had to kind of scrape and peel it off. There was a pretty big chunk here towards the back. and this side was a little bit worse. So here I am with the alcohol swab pad, cleaning up the area and then wiping it again off with the microfiber towel. I could have put newer GT badges on this car. I have some newer ones from the new Edge, but I just really like these badges for this car. They just don't look right if you have the new ones on here. So that was my choice. I really like it. So again, just held the badge on there, applied pressure, and it turned out really nice. And it was easy to line it up with the hole and with the tan mark. So loser, winner. Looks so much better. I'm very happy with that. It's funny how little things like this make a difference when the car didn't have them before, so you really appreciate it. Now every time I walk out to the car, I appreciate seeing the badges on there, and that really helped out. So I decided to go ahead and take the car for a drive. I wanted to go to the neighborhood I grew up in and go park it in front of my old house and where the bright tangerine orange GT used to be. So here's in front of my old house, and here's over where the tangerine orange GT was. Just kind of a special place for me and my family and my brother especially, where we go on cruises. So I went for a nice drive in the car, and everything's going very well. And stay tuned because I have even more stuff coming for the car. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel and watch more of these updates if you like them.